To give a brief and captivating introduction to my today's guest, it's almost impossible for a simple reason. He's going to do much better job the moment he gets introduced. For now, I'll just say that he was spinning the hits in Vancouver CJOR in 1954 while he was still in high school. He was the first DJ to play rock and roll music on a regular basis in Canada. And in 1957, he jumped into Vancouver top 40 giant CKWX, where he met Buddy Holly and Elvis Presley. He was also MC for Elvis's appearance. You still don't know who I'm talking about? Well, I'll tell you, VMEA show, I created it a little over 3 years ago, and today I'm proud to welcome a legend.
The VMEA show is sponsored by the following people.
To say Red Robinson was a pioneer rock and roll DJ is like saying Christopher Columbus was an explorer. From the earliest days of rock and roll music, Red was playing it on the air, one of the very first in North America to do so, leading the way for a new generation of teenagers in the mid-1950s. By the time he was 20, he was signing more autographs than many of the recording stars themselves. Over the years, Red has shared the stage, screen, and microphone with almost every major performer in the long history of rock and roll. Names like Bill Haley, Fats Domino, Connie Francis, Buddy Holly, Little Richard, Elvis Presley, Ricky Nelson, Roy Orbison, Debbie Reynolds, Frankie Avalon, the Everly Brothers, Bobby Darin, Gene Vincent, Tom Jones, the Beatles, and literally hundreds more. In 1995, Red was honored as one of the legendary DJs at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio.
60 years in radio. I'm not going to ask you how was it then and now, because that's not really a relevant question. We all know there are differences. But how was it in terms of having fun while you were, in your field then and now?
Well, I'll tell you, when I started in radio, it truly was fun. It had just gone from a transition of old radio shows like Jack Benny or dramas or whatever, and they all moved to television. So there was this giant void in radio. And basically, even though there were disc jockeys before, that was the birth of the disc jockeys. Fill the airtime. How do we sell it to an audience when they've all gone over to television? So radio, literally, when you look back, radio saved the movies, and I'll tell you why in a minute, and it also saved radio. Why? It was the biggest explosion in North America of youth. Never before had there ever been a market of youth. And why? Because they had money. They took old cars left over from pre-World War II and built them into hot rods. Now when you have a car, you need tires, gas, all those things. And so it was an explosion of youth marketing.
I didn't live in those days, but it feels like there was much more fun to do what you're doing than it is now.
Oh, definitely it was. And I tell you a couple of reasons. Every year there was a brand new model car. Nowadays they all look like they came out of a wind tunnel. It's hard to tell the difference unless you look for the logo. But there was that. Musically, there was new music, independent labels. It was a renaissance period. Prior to that, there were only 5 labels, record labels, that controlled it all. All of a sudden, you've got Chess Records out of New Orleans. You've got Sun Records out of Memphis, different Cameo Records out of Philadelphia. And all of these were coming into a guy like me, a disc jockey, and they were exciting. They were all colorful looking labels and all new artists. Fats Domino, I'd never heard of him, but he'd been recording since 1948. But, you know, he was an incredible talent. And so everything was changing, so it was exciting. And then I would, you know, have my radio show live with an audience. That's how I started out, and I loved it. There's a kinetic energy with an audience.
The live shows are always more challenging. Isn't it nice to do that?
They're challenging, but they're fun. And that's what we had. We had fun. And they'd come down and dance in the aisles, you know. And
nice.
You knew rock and roll was going to be around.
Yeah. Well, because you were the DJ, you were always behind the microphone, you were host, you were usually the interviewer, right? Not many times you were sitting on the interviewee's chair. How does it feel to you now when it's tables is turned?
Well, I'm comfortable with you. I think it's better because I'm a listener. I like to listen to what the person I'm talking to has to say, and then all of a sudden the spotlight's on you. I'll tell you a great analogy of that. When I was, you know, told about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and then everybody from media and everything came after me, it was different. I don't like being in that kind of a spotlight. I'd rather be bringing on John Fogerty of Creedence Clearwater or Bruce Springsteen and talk to them. When the spotlight's on you, it's a whole different thing, you know?
I know what you mean, because I'm like that too. When I bring the guests to my show, I always say this show is yours. It's yours. So that's why I really like the fact that you're the one who is talking the most, because I like to listen to as much as anybody probably else. I've been here in your office before, and I noticed that you are an amazing listener. There's not many people anymore. They have time and they give the energy into listening to others.
Thank you for that. The reason that I do that is when you think back, I started out in radio at 16 and 17 years of age, never worked a little town. It was right here in Vancouver. But the men of those days gave me time. They were like mentors, and I've never forgotten. They gave to me, I want to give back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you probably, you remember what was done for you as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Never forget.
Yeah.
Never forget.
Well, I know that, like you said, you don't really, you are not getting interviewed very often. You're usually the one who interview people. And I noticed that you don't give many interviews either.
No.
So I feel very, very honored, and I don't know what I did to go through your door, because this is a complete pleasure for me, and I'm sure that everybody else who's listening to us, they're very happy to hear that you appeared on my show.
It's been my pleasure. I can't believe I've been around this business this is my 60th year. It'll culminate on November the 12th this year. I will have completed 60 years on the air. I never dreamt in my wildest dreams that I'd still be doing this all these years later. But I just want to say this, Mia. I never had a day, I mean this sincerely, when I got up and I didn't want to go to work, because it's not work. It's my passion. I love it. What am I still doing working at my age? Well, it's not work. I love it. And I've got to have my little clubhouse here, you know.
That's what it is. And that's what, if you go to my website, that's what it says there. Whoever is passionate about what they do, not really occupations. That's those kind of people I love to have.
I'd like to call my book, I Never Worked a Day in My Life.
Oh, I love it. I may borrow that or steal it from you. What was the most important, or what is still most important for you to be behind the microphone? What's the most important element for you?
To me, it's a reaction out of an audience. Why even bother? You're just sitting there talking to a microphone. First of all, you have to have imagination, because it's radio particularly is theater of the mind. So I like to create little things and tell stories where people are walking into my brain and they're going, and they can picture what I'm saying. You know, like when I described Elvis and myself backstage, waiting to go on, back in 1957, and the things we talked about. And I can picture the whole thing, remember the dialogue. Those are magic moments.
Interesting.
But I like to convey that to the audience. And the feedback I get is tremendous.
Well, I know that those memories nobody can erase.
No.
What you went through, that not many people have been that lucky like you.
No.
And when you mentioned Elvis Presley, I know that you hear these questions on a daily basis, so sorry if I'm going to bug you with that again, but I'd like to know how it was to work with him or be with him, to listen to him.
He was, honest to God, at the time he was 22, I was 20. And we talked about the fact that we'd only been out of high school a few years, and we talked about the things guys talk about. Ladies like you. We talked about, oh yes, the girls, of course, the cars, the trends, but a lot of time on music. And I wanted to know from Elvis who his people, the people that he liked in the music business, who inspired him. And most of them were, believe it or not, rhythm and blues singers, like a man you may not know called Roy Hamilton, who had the original Unchained Melody, and Jackie Wilson, people like that. And so we had a lot in common to talk about. But he had no conceit, Mia, none.
No
he had
ego?
vanity, he cared about how he looked, but no conceit. He would be, if he was sitting here with you, he'd be asking more about you, you know, and not deflecting anything. That's his nature. He liked people.
It's funny because you are like that. You made the same impression on me.
Oh,
the same way. And do you think it was it was the era, or it was the way he was brought up?
He's brought up. The Southern boys in America are polite. He called everybody, including me, and I was 2 years younger, sir. You know, it was the way his mama brought him up. Oh yeah.
Very respectful.
Very respectful and very polite. Well-mannered too.
Did you notice the same attributes with other talents or other legends at that time?
Yes, people like Roy Orbison, cut from the same cloth, very polite, well-mannered, nice man, very quiet man compared to Elvis. I mean, Elvis was, you know, moving around all the time. But Roy, the first time we brought him to town, my partner and I, Les Vogt, we had a booking agency, booking in the first rock acts in this province. And Roy was here for the first time, 1961 or 2, out at the Exhibition Gardens on the P&E grounds. And he was all nervous backstage and everything. And Les said, Roy, how come you're so nervous? He said, I'm a homely man. And I've been in situations where I walk out on the stage and people boo me and throw stuff at me. But how are you going to be able to go out tonight? Oh, he said, but I didn't finish the story. Once I sing the first song, I own them. True story.
The Via Mia Show is sponsored by the following people.
We are back with the legendary DJ, Mr. Red Robinson. I'm very proud, really proud that you let me go through your door. We're sitting in your office, and later on we'll take a look at your pictures as well, because I would like to share that with your permission. We were talking about your experience with all these legends that are fortunately not with us anymore. One of them, his name caught my attention from your website. I know who he was. He had a very short life, Bobby Darin. And the reason why I'm bringing his name is because you quoted him. He said shortly before he passed away that he wanted to be recognized, or his goal to be remembered as a good human being, a great performer. And you added that he accomplished both.
Yeah, I would say that. There's a wonderful book on Bobby Darin called Borrowed Time, written by his brother. Bobby had a complicated life. It's all shown in a movie called Beyond the Sea. And it was Kevin Spacey who played Bobby. And I asked Kevin when he was in town, why what made you want to do Bobby Darin? He said, my mother was the biggest fan, and before she passed away, I promised I'd do the Bobby Darin story. But I knew Bobby, and he was a lot of people misinterpreted his energy, and sometimes they get interpreted as arrogance. But he had to crowd everything in, because in Borrowed Time, it tells the story of this young man, Bobby Darin, who had rheumatic fever, and his heart was never going to be the same. The doctor said to his mother, if he makes it to 15, we'll be lucky. So he knew he had to, all the things he wanted to do, he had to cram them in.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing, Mia. I had a partner when I owned an ad agency, and I said to Steve, let's go see Bobby Darin. We were in Las Vegas. Oh, I don't want to go see Bobby Darin. I said, no, you're coming to Bobby Darin. So I took him and his wife, and my wife, Carol, and he came out saying, my God, what a performer. This guy could play all the instruments, do impersonations. He was one of the first I can ever remember using visuals on screens, you know, showing different things of his career. An amazing all-round performer. But it was in one of those shows, he finished the show, walked off stage, collapsed. They took him to the hospital for another heart operation. He didn't make it.
Oh, that's too bad.
But today, it's amazing how many advances have been made. If he'd had that problem today, they could have helped him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was as it was, but at least we remember him for a few songs, what he did, and those songs were great. His voice was amazing.
He did
talent, like real talent. The reason I was also studied to ask this question, when you added that he accomplished both, to be remembered as a good human being and great performer, I don't really want to dig something out, but how many people these days you can say the same thing about? How many performers?
You don't want me to name them, do you?
No.
I think the ones that you would think as legends were that for a reason. I mean, Roy Orbison was so wonderful with his family. He was just a great guy. So Bobby wasn't alone. But over the years, I've met a few that you wouldn't want to have dinner at their house, okay?
Okay, I think I understand. But the talents at those years, 50s, 60s, it really meant a lot. You wouldn't be able to get person on a stage if he doesn't have a talent. How come the talent is not number one anymore these days? It's not the most important for a performer.
Well, I can't sing a note, but if I go into a recording studio today, with all the electronics, they can build it in tears and make me sound good. And I think that has deflected from real raw talent. When you listen to those early recordings we were talking about with Fats Domino and Elvis, that was raw talent. And you know, what blew me away when Elvis played here in Vancouver, as an example, he sounded like his records.
Oh, yeah.
But it took the talent, because he would be in a studio with guitars and amps and little tiny amplifiers, and the sound that they got out, it had to have talent to get ahead. Yeah, and you're right. Today they can manufacture talent. You know, get a good publicity machine going, press it, and you say, I like it. And a lot of times you say, I like it because your peer group likes it. You know, and that was part of yesterday too, but not to the degree it is today.
Well, if we go back to a broadcasting field, people in that kind of field, like you, or even what I do now, we can't compare each other, I understand it, but you were lucky to meet a lot of interesting people, because mainly because what you were doing. And I know that those memories, like I said, they won't be able to be erased. And I know this question is going to sound ridiculous, but is any memory that stands out, doesn't have to be with a particular person, but it's something that you will, from your professional life, that will never be forgotten and just gets you without thinking?
Someone asked me that the other day, and I said, yes, the highlight was when the phone rang here in my office years ago, 1995, and they said, you have been elected to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Are you kidding me? I mean, that was one of the most incredible moments I ever had. The other one was the same type of thing when the Canadian Association of Broadcasters put me in the Hall of Fame. And I was inducted by Lloyd Robertson, the news guy, and it was in Toronto. Those are amazing experiences, of course, career-wise. Personally, with all my kids, they were always special to me. But no, these are the career highlights.
Yeah, we're talking about your professional life, and that is really nice. I mean, to me, it wouldn't surprise me that you appear there, because you should be there as a number one. That's what I would be putting you there.
Well, thank
anyway,
you.
If we can move a little bit towards these current days, hopefully you don't mind me asking that question. There used to be a theater that carried your name, and somehow I see different names there now. What happened?
Well, what happened to my theater, I said it to the media when it came down, there's nothing I could do. So I didn't raise a stink about it. I decided to take the high ground. What the heck's to be gained? But what's happened, the answer is simple. It's a corporate decision. And this is a corporate world we live in. I grew up in a time when the station owner and manager lived in the city. They don't anymore. They're thousands of miles away. So when they make a corporate decision, that's it.
Yeah.
You have no say in it. And you can't point the finger and blame anybody. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to go in a different direction. And they did.
Well, I have to tell you, whoever I speak to, everybody still calls it Red Robinson Theater. I don't think this is going to escape. So, another thing I would like to discuss with you, because I'm your huge fan. Every Sunday I listen to your Red Rock Diner on AM 650. I love it very much. I used to listen to you on C-Fun before the station vanished, but...
Yes.
So
there you go. There's an example. It was here today, gone tomorrow.
I know. So before AM 650 decided to vanish, maybe we should rename it to Red AM 650 or C Red or whatever. Your name should be already on the stations.
Oh.
That's your home station anyway.
Yeah, and they're really good people. I like them. When you walk in to AM 650 Sea Isle, you walk into a radio station. I forget the man that left one of the big stations in downtown Vancouver, went out there and he said, I felt I was back in radio again.
That's nice.
And it's a compliment to the people that own it. And I feel that way about it.
Never been there, but yeah, I love listening to it. I just like the variety of music throughout the whole day.
Music
and
you can't find on the radio anymore.
No, and it doesn't repeat.
No.
Doesn't repeat. You always hear the new things I haven't heard for so many years. And your particular show, which lasts 4 hours, just 4 hours for you as a host, it's a long show, not for us listeners. And the way I have to say it, I see it's to me, it's one of the best, if not the best show ever. Like, that's my opinion. Because when the show is finishing, I feel like, oh, it's already 4 o'clock. Like, you feel like it's not enough. I think that's a good sign.
Thank you for that. And the work I put into it, so-called work, but I do homework. And I pick, all the music's picked right from this room here. And not that they don't have it, but I just particularly like to do it. And create little features. I have a thing called Compare the Hits. So you hear Have I Told You Lately with Rod Stewart, but have you heard the other versions of it?
Yeah, that's what I like. You play different versions.
Yes.
One song, I just heard it.
So those are things that take work, though, and then you got to go find them all.
I know. I believe that it's a lot of work.
Van Morrison had another version of that, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I like, because you bring so much into that show. It's about everything, and tiny little things you can learn from the show. It doesn't really have to be anything to do with music. It feels like something just hit you and you want to say it, and it just it just floats nicely. It doesn't feel like it doesn't belong there. Time is pressuring us. I wish I have more time for you than just a half an hour. Maybe if I can ask one more question.
Sure.
I know that you are not going to probably point fingers or anything. That's what I want. But how do you see today's broadcasters, today announcers, today MCs, these people that you carved the path for all of those?
I feel sorry for them. They're not given the opportunity. There's talent out there, but they're not given the opportunity to even go in and pick their own music anymore. They've got little cards they read, and it is so controlled. What made my era so fascinating was, and I loved it, was you go in, entertain an audience, get ratings, and if you don't, you're out in the street. Fine. Yeah. Fine. I'll take the risk. Mm-hmm. Now it's all cut and dried, cookie cutter radio.
I like that expression.
It's and really that's right. Is, yeah. And it's all the same, and and you mentioned repetition. They play the same stuff all the time, and they think that's what people want. I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I like AM 650 like throughout the whole day, because you don't hear the same music all the time. It's really nice. Well, sir, I really love the fact that I can sit here in your office. I would like if we can maybe later on stand up, you'll show me some of the pictures and describe. But before we do that, you know that I can't leave without your signature on this cup. So that will be really nice to have that.
No coffee in it.
No, coffee is not good for you anyway. What I'm going to do now, I have only time for this. I know that just to say thank you, it's not enough. It's not something would justify that. Would you let me go here and meet you and talk to you? And
give me that so you don't get black all over your finger.
Look at this, and even you can read it. It's not something that we are seeing very often these days. Thank you so much. So I guess thank you on behalf of all of us, listeners, viewers, audience, everybody you've been facing for so many years. Looking forward to hear from you again to the earliest Sunday from AM 650. If not, maybe we'll see you here again. Thank you again.
In the meantime, you light up everybody's life, okay?
You will have to appear then close to me, and I'll do it. And to everybody, hope you enjoy the half an hour with us. I'll see you next week.
What's next for the amazing Red Robinson?